Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching the Digital Marketing Show. My name is Luis Xavier, and my team and I help business owners and course creators to increase their sales by getting them qualified leads on autopilot. The Digital Marketing Show is a project that has a simple idea but a powerful one. Add value to your business by sharing how our successful guests are achieving their goals, growing their business, and living a different lifestyle. Today, I have Bogdan Rusu. It's a little bit hard to pronounce, so hopefully I'm saying that right. He's right here with me. So he is actually a mindset coach, and he has and he used he used to teach martial arts to combine his personal development. How you doing, Bogdan? How you doing, mate?
Hey Luis, nice to see you, man. Nice to meet you as well.
Amazing. So straight from Romania.
Yeah, Romania, Eastern Europe. Yeah.
Amazing. I was actually telling you, I was in Brasov for a month.
You did, right? You took
Yeah,
your paragliding license for
that's right. Yeah, I got the
there.
license, the pilot license. I was flying every day for a month, and it was amazing. It was beautiful, to see the entire city from the top. And I was very lucky because the weather was really nice and warm as well. I know it can get very cold there.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough time to go and travel a little bit more around Romania. I really wanted to see the castles and all that stuff, but next time. I had a very good time there.
Well, Brasov is definitely a great place to visit and stay. It's one of my favorite places, definitely in the country. So yeah, good choice.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. I know you're a busy man, so I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
So you are a mindset coach.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever spoken to a mindset coach. How does it work? Like I couldn't wait any longer to ask you that.
Well, welcome. Welcome to my world. Yeah, for the longest time, I had no idea what the hell mindset coaching is. And I had no idea that I was a mindset coach. Just like you previously mentioned, I used to teach personal development combined with martial arts since 2013, because I noticed that what martial arts was giving you, personal development was missing, and what personal development was giving you was missing. You could get that from martial arts. So that was a great combination, and people got so many good results. They became more confident. They were making more money. They were attracting the kind of partner that they actually wanted for themselves, and it was great. I actually didn't know that what I was doing was mindset coaching, because it was just something that I was doing intuitively. And yeah, of course, I was studying also like different ways to get better results, but I didn't know what that was. And slowly but surely, I actually realized that I enjoyed the coaching part a lot more. But to be more precise, I discovered about myself that I was hiding behind the martial arts. I thought that just because I was doing martial arts since I was 13, right? So I thought that just because somebody taught martial arts and I was looking up to those guys, that's the only way that you can make an impact. I didn't actually believe in myself, my true self. And I secretly thought that if I were to coach people, nobody would want that. Nobody would pay me to actually coach them, that I had nothing of value to give if I just expressed myself honestly, right? And that was something that I had to come to terms with and be honest about it to myself. And when I actually accepted that, I could, and it wasn't easy. I could allow myself to let go of the martial arts and just do what I love.
That's really cool. So how do you describe mindset? And the way that you explained, is it related to confident, like to be confident about like your skills and stuff?
It is in a way, but like my audience, entrepreneurs, they don't really necessarily think that they're not confident, right? They know that they're scared of something. They don't know exactly what that is, but they would never describe themselves as not feeling or not being confident enough. Because I mean, they're definitely more confident than the people in their circle because they own a business. So what I do basically through my coaching is we dive deep, we ask some very powerful questions, and we find out exactly what's in their subconscious mind. What are those beliefs that are shaping their reality, that are kind of fighting with their goals, and they're keeping them stuck, right? These people who kind of have, you look at them and you feel like, oh my God, this person makes things happen like that. They have absolutely no resistance. There's absolutely nothing stopping them from getting their goals. Well, the reason why they're like that and they're free and they have this flowing energy around them, not this rigid energy, is because they chose to let go of these limiting beliefs. They chose to replace those negative beliefs about themselves with positive, empowering ones. So they chose to think differently. They chose a different mindset, but not just consciously. Because if you ask somebody consciously, they would say, no, I'm not afraid of anything. But when you actually sit down and get in the right state and you ask the right questions, they're like, oh my God, I had no idea that was there. But I can absolutely see how that's affecting me. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So I did a little bit of hypnotherapy sessions back in the day, and it was very fascinating, and it really helped me in a lot of different ways. So is it similar in a way? Like how does it work? Because I mean, like to access the subconscious, I guess you need to get the person in, like you mentioned, like in a state and all that stuff. So how does it work? How does it work?
It is similar to hypnotherapy in the sense of getting the results. And what's different is the accountability, right? Because with my clients, I have daily contact via Messenger, right? Just like you probably had some coaching sessions of your own, right? And after you find what that is, and you kind of clean that space, then it's time to take action. Because just because you clean the house and then you stay in your house, right, it doesn't necessarily get you to where you want, right? You clean the house, but then you go to work, you take action, right? And then you come back and you maintain the house clean, because it's always going to get dirty, right? So it's definitely a process of re-cleaning the subconscious, but more of that, making sure that the right type of action is taken, it's done consistently, and it's done in the right state.
That's phenomenal. I love it. So it's a matter of reprogramming the brain in a way, and the subconscious, I guess, to get the person in the right mindset. So then they can be bulletproof in a way. So they're always working, always moving towards their goal.
Yeah, more like fixing the bugs.
I like it. Yeah. So, do you meditate? Do you recommend meditation? Yeah, for your clients as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how because I mean I meditate myself, but I usually do 10 minutes a day. And for me I can see the benefit, but I would love to do more. What's a good time to set aside for meditation?
Well, actually, that's not necessarily that important. I was listening to the spiritual teacher the other day who was saying meditation is not the goal in and of itself. Meditation is there just to give you the right state. But what will actually get you there is action, right? So what you use meditation for is to kind of trigger the right state that will trigger the right action. Okay, so if that's for you, for some people, it's like they wake up in the morning, they're like, "Bam, I'm ready." Right? They're like opened up, they're excited, they're full of energy, and they take action. That's great, because they're meditating the whole day if they keep that state, right?
Absolutely.
So it's different from person to person. Like when I started with meditation, I got so excited that I was meditating 2 hours a day. Of course, that's not sustainable, right? So I did it for, I guess, a couple of weeks. But it was useful for me in that at that moment just to get me through the door. For some people, it might be 1 minute. Doesn't matter when you're doing it or if you're doing it. What's really important is checking with yourself during the day and asking yourself, am I in the right state right now? Am I believing really deep down inside in what I'm doing? Am I believing in myself right now in what I'm doing? If I'm not in the right state, if I'm not believing in myself, if I'm feeling doubtful, if I'm feeling like an imposter, if I'm feeling like I'm not enough, what would I need to believe? And this is something that I also got from the spiritual teacher I was mentioning yesterday. This question, what would I need to believe about myself in order to feel that way? Right? And then when you uncover it, you can deal with it.
Yeah, it's something I think is something that I know, in fact, that helped me a lot was when I was working. Let's say, after a while, you become an authority and you're helping others and all that stuff. But it takes some time for you to be in that place where you feel confident enough to teach others, and you don't feel like you are an intruder. And for me, it was a little bit tricky and hard, but the key was to believe that I could actually help others, that I could actually provide value. And 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 I actually read and saw some stuff, and what I learned and what made me get this to work was essentially, because most of the time when we're doing something, it's really hard for us to see the good stuff, the positive side, right? So we usually see the negative side. And with me, I was like, well, all right, let's do this, right? Like I would say to myself, I'm like, okay, I am an authority, I am helping others, and all that stuff. And then I would actually pay attention to the little details, like, to someone that said, hey, thank you, you helped me a lot, you saved me a day, a week of work, and then like those little things would go and sort of like encourage me and made me actually believe that I was correct about what I was thinking. So I think in a way I kind of programmed myself, but more seeing what was working than ignoring it and just saying, well, no, I was wrong. I don't actually help people. I do understand. It's a bit tricky, I guess. And I think the things that you were saying, there's quite a lot about awareness as well. So in order to ask those questions and sort of like ping yourself, you need to be aware, correct?
Yeah.
So how can you make sure that you are aware most of the time, so you can actually see what's happening and kind of go through the fog instead of being in that fog and just be confused like sometimes? And do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah. And I spent a long time of my 20s not being aware because I thought that I was going to be able to do it by myself. And the truth is that I'm really, really good at helping my clients with busting through limiting beliefs and leveling up their money game. I'm really, really good at that. Where I suck at is doing it for myself, right?
Yeah,
And
but
it took a
usually it is
while.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it took a while to accept that about myself and say, hey, you know what? I'm not supposed to be good at doing it for myself. I'm supposed to get help and allow others help me and break through
To
my
assist you.
mindset
Yeah, correct.
issues, right? I'm supposed to get coached myself on the very things that I'm coaching. And that was also a term of, something that I had to come to terms with, because the ego says, no, you need to be self-made, right? You need to figure things out by yourself. And okay, great. You can do that if you have a lot of time to waste, if you have a lot of money to burn. That's great, right? You can absolutely do that. But the truth is that most, if not all, of the people that we look up to in this entrepreneurial space, they've all had coaches. They've all had somebody to help them out, right? So to make a long answer short, the best way to be self-aware is to allow somebody else to help you be self-aware and ask you these questions. How are you feeling, right? Why are you feeling that way? And you're going to come up with your answers because you already have the answers. But having somebody there next to you, right, over you, who sits on your shoulder and says, hey, how are you feeling? Why are you doing that specifically? Well, I don't know. Well, okay, if you did know, what would the answer be, right? So having somebody to coach you is the fastest, the best way to help you get results. There's no way around it, right? And of course, I let my ego run wild, and it cost me 6 years of being stagnant in my life. And after a certain point, when you're being stagnant, you go down. And then when I finally decided to get coaching again, then things started to move up once again. So yeah, have somebody there, because if you would have already been self-aware enough, you've already gotten the goals, but you're not, right? So you just need somebody there to help you out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I completely agree with you. I was actually joking around with one of my copywriters. Like, she was saying, so when are you gonna get your funnel done? I'm like, yeah, I create funnels like for my clients. I don't have a funnel for me. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And it's always like that, right? Like, if we're good at something, chances are we probably won't do that for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
So I have one client who's a marketer. He's great at marketing, right? He's great at getting leads for other people and helping them get clients. And he recently started. That's the reason why we started coaching together, because he started his coaching business, right? And when I looked at his marketing, it completely sucked. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this stuff, right? Well, I don't know, right? And we had a few sessions. We dug deep. We found the reason why. We found what he was afraid of. And he just had like this deep fear of being judged. Right? He thought that if he put himself out there as a coach, as a marketer, as an expert, God forbid, people who he looked up to would judge him. Right? So when we got rid of that fear through allowing him to feel that pain, right? Because it's like you're always scared of something that might happen that you're not really aware of. But when you allow yourself to feel like the worst case scenario and notice that, hey, you know what? The worst case scenario is not really that bad. What am I scared of? And the fear goes away, right? He started posting some brilliant content. Now he's having people reach out to him and say, hey, can you help me with my marketing? Right? So it's like,
yeah.
It's like, you already might know what you need to do. You might have the best strategy in the world. You might have paid whoever, Russell Brunson himself to have lunch with you and explain, like, draw your funnel on a napkin. But the reason why you don't have that funnel up is because your mindset is not on point. You still have something that you're afraid of that you don't know why you're afraid of.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's so true. And sometimes it's just a little thing, isn't it, that keeps on holding us back. And when you have a mentor, the mentor can just go there and like quickly find out what's wrong. And
it's like that.
Yeah, and get you to overcome. And I remember, like, talking back like about the hypnotherapy that I did. Like, I remember this one session that I went there and we did how do you call, like, when you go back in time, like
regression.
Yeah, so I did a regression and it was so interesting, and it was something that I didn't even remember. Like, it was in my subconscious, of course, but yeah, after I went there and I faced my fears and all that stuff, like, it was like a movie. If someone told me what I went through, I would never believe them. And
yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, and I remember like leaving the session and I was really tired and I slept, and the next day I woke up and I was a different person. It was mind blowing. That's amazing. So what kind of clients do you work with? What's your
mostly online entrepreneurs.
Different industries?
Yeah. Online entrepreneurs. The reason why I chose our target audience is because I understand them. Freedom is a huge value for me. So I know that the reason why you started dear online entrepreneur tuning in right now, I know the reason why you created your business is because you wanted to have the laptop lifestyle.
Absolutely.
But you're struggling right now, even though you have all the tools, and even though you know exactly what to do, even though you're listening to Luis and everything he's teaching makes perfect sense, you're struggling with that because your mindset is not on point. You still feel like you don't deserve the laptop lifestyle. You still think to yourself, who the hell am I to deserve to be that person? Like, who do you think you are to be putting yourself out there in that way and thinking that you can actually help people with your business? Yeah.
And it's fascinating,
yeah.
isn't it? Sorry to cut you off, because you start like helping people, and you think back and you're like, well, 2 years ago I couldn't like help anyone, and now I am helping people. So why can I help now? You know, and like, am I qualified to do that? So there's quite a lot of questions that you keep asking yourself, and that doesn't actually help you at all. You know, and a mentor can just help you to overcome that so quickly and move on. And then, you know, it's like it's not a great comparison, but you know, it's like some clients, they, you know, if they have like a terrible page, like a funnel, you know, people go there and they're like, oh, they have so many questions, right? And then you go and create like a whole strategy, and they have this amazing funnel with testimonials, like all that stuff, like proving their authority, all that stuff. Like the questions are completely different. You know, like the clients will ask them, how much does it cost? How can I get this? It's completely different than, you know, who are you? How can I buy these? Like, I don't know, you, all that stuff.
Will this work?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So what's the number one problem that you solve for your clients?
Belief and feeling deserving of the goals.
And how long does it take to shift?
A second. Shift happens in a second.
But it takes time, like until that second happens, isn't it? Like depending off the...
No. The last session I had, it took 45 to 50 minutes to completely reprogram the fear.
I love it. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The person was, my client was a different person at the end of the process, just like totally different. And what usually happens, but that's not the end, right? That's not the end, not necessarily the end of it, because if it were that easy, then I wouldn't spend time, you know, like 12 weeks coaching my clients. I was just like, hey, let's do one session. There you go. You're cured.
You show
go out there and make money, right?
Yeah.
Be a millionaire. What happens is that you do become this different person, but then you go back to an environment, right? You don't have contact with the person that you decided to become. You don't get reminded of, hey, here's what you're actually capable of. So you fall back into who you were, because, you know, everything, like even the chair you sit in is a reminder of who you were yesterday. You're not the same person, absolutely not, but you still get reminded and you fall back into that, right? So shift takes a second, a moment. It's just like asking the right questions and getting there, that the person really gets to decide, because I don't get to decide, right? They can say, hey, you know what, this is much more appealing to me. This is definitely something that is going to be bringing me more happiness and more joy. So I'm going to choose that. But reminding yourself to choose it daily until you actually become that, right, is a process in and of itself. And then after you achieve that level, you're going to have different fears that you need to break through. Your mind is going to come up with different reasons why you cannot achieve the next level. And then we have to clean the house again. Yeah.
So it's always a challenge, and you need to continually work, because of course, you know, we always have the thoughts, and most of the time they are actually I guess, bad thoughts. There's no good and bad, I guess, but in a way,
Yeah.
they will bring you down, and then you need to be aware so you can sort of like know where you stand, and the difference between what's being put in front of you and what you actually can do and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love it. So, so how did you start your business? I know that was from the martial arts. In fact, what kind of martial arts was that?
Wing Chun. It was the martial arts style that Bruce Lee started out with in Hong Kong.
Amazing. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So then you started the martial arts first, and then that developed into coaching. Do you still teach martial arts as well?
I don't, like I said, when I realized that I was actually hiding behind martial arts, because what I wanted to do was actually coach people and help them through these emotional blocks and, become their best selves. I realized that, and then I came to terms with it, and I said, okay, I need to stop. I need to stop being someone that I'm not, because I wasn't that person anymore.
Yeah.
I was that person in 2013 when I started, but then, I slowly grew out of it. So yeah, definitely.
Love it. Cool. Mate, it was a pleasure having you here. I really, really enjoyed our talk. We're just about to wrap up. I believe you have something for free to give away to our listeners, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's a subconscious evaluation session.
Cool.
Yeah, just showed up right there, right? So what we're gonna do basically in this session, I'm gonna help you get in the right state. We're gonna be asking the right questions to find out exactly what your beliefs are that are kind of holding you back right now. And we're also going to discuss how you can actually get rid of those beliefs, right? So the best way to get access or win a free session is to DM me with the text free session or evaluation. And I'll ask you a few questions to see if and how I can help you too, right? So this is definitely for people who are committed, who really believe in their dreams and in their business, right? It's for you if you don't have a choice. Like you have to make the business work, otherwise you will have to get a job, and that nobody wants that. It's not for you if you're dabbling, if you're like, okay, maybe I want to be an entrepreneur, maybe I don't, maybe I want to get to the next level, maybe I don't. So if you're unsure if you want to do that, if you're ready and you're if you're ready to take your life to the next level, it's not going to work, right? So it's definitely for you if you're committed and if you're open to letting go of certain beliefs that are really holding you back right now. So yeah, let's do it.
Amazing. That was awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge. I'm super excited. I'm actually going to book a session with you. I definitely want to go through that and, see
Beautiful.
how, you can help as well. So, mate, thank you so much once again. I really appreciate your time. And yeah, I'll talk to you shortly.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. And thank you to everyone who was live with us.
Cool,
Beautiful.
cool. See you guys. Thank you. Have a good one.